It's hard to imagine life without Wi-Fi. Even just a decade ago, it wasn't all that common, and 2 decades ago, it was the stuff of science fiction. But now it's so commonplace that even the slightest speed drop can send a man into a frenzied rage directed, of course, towards the local ISP. And it's not like we're judging. It happens to the best of us. But it's only fair to point out that Wi-Fi quality isn't solely down to the ISP. It relies heavily on the router itself. So before you go typing out angry tweets that will hopefully reach their destination, what with the Wi-Fi being bad and all, let's take a look at some of the best Wi-Fi routers that 2019 has to offer. We've made sure to pack the list with versatile products when it comes to price range and functionality, so we hope that everyone will be able to find a model that's to their liking, no matter the personal preference. So without any further ado, let's begin. The first router we'll be showcasing in this video is the NETGEAR Nighthawk R6700, and right off the bat we have ourselves a weird one, at least as far as looks are concerned. It was made to resemble the Nighthawk stealth plane, hence the name, which is great if you're into that sort of thing, but we imagine most of you don't care, and that's perfectly fine. However, what's important is what's on the inside, and NETGEAR definitely delivered on that front. This dual-band router features a maximum Wi-Fi speed of 1750 megabits per second, with the 2.4 GHz frequency accounting for 450 megabits per second, and the 5 GHz frequency for the other 1300. This is further augmented through the use of beamforming technology, which helps maximize the coverage. It comes with the standard 4 LAN and 1 WAN port configuration on the back, and it also features a single USB 3.0 port. Lastly, it comes with NETGEAR's Genie app, which grants you full control over the router remotely and makes connecting other wireless devices much more convenient. Overall, the Nighthawk R6700 is a fast and powerful router that is as fit for home use as it is for office space. The signal is far-reaching and stable enough even for gaming. So if the odd design doesn't bother you, then the only thing it has going against it is the unstable firmware. How should we say this? It has a bit of a reputation for panicking and randomly dropping connections when faced with heavy workloads. If you're watching this video from the future where NETGEAR has rectified this problem, feel free to let us know in the comments. In the meantime, however, your best bet is to use custom firmware. Following that up, we have the TP-Link Archer C1200. TP-Link is renowned for its networking devices, and the Archer C1200 is the most popular solution they've released. We attribute this success to the seamless blend of visual appeal and functionality. The router is compact and sleek, with the glossy black body and subtle green LED lights that help it blend into most interiors. As for the Wi-Fi, the Archer C1200 has a maximum speed of 1200 megabits per second, just like the name suggests. The higher frequency carries the bulk of this speed, namely 867 megabits per second, and the lower frequency band covers the remaining 300-ish megabits per second. This signal is broadcast by means of 3 antennae attached to the back of the router. Cable-wise, you've again got the standard 4 LAN and 1 WAN port configuration, this time using a single USB 2.0 port thrown in the mix. And once again, the router comes with means of giving you easy access to remote management and hassle-free connecting in the form of TP-Link's Tenda app. All in all, we have to praise the Archer C1200 for its versatility, quality, and most of all, affordability. It's easily a top contender for the best affordable router, period. The only thing that we could possibly complain about that isn't balanced by the low price tag is the fact that, like all glossy black surfaces, this router is a real dust and fingerprint magnet. It's nothing that regular cleaning can't fix, but we figured we should mention it. Are you surprised to see Asus selling networking equipment? Well, we were, at least at first. And honestly, at this point, we wouldn't be surprised to see a toaster with the Asus logo plastered onto it. What's more, it'd probably be an excellent toaster. That's just an educated guess based on past experiences at this point. But that's enough rambling for now. Interestingly enough, the Asus RT-N12 is not at all what you'd imagine an Asus product would be. It's cheap, compact, and fairly simple. But don't let this fool you into thinking you're dealing with a low-quality quality router. The RT-N12 may not be as powerful as most of the routers in this video, but it can definitely pull its own weight. The single band speed of 300 megabits per second isn't all that impressive, but it has a stable and expansive signal thanks to the two detachable antennae and the built-in signal amplifier. Also, it uses older 802.11 BGN technology, has no USB ports next to the 4 LAN and 1 WAN port, and comes with no accompanying software. So how does all of this translate into being a good router? The key to that lies in judging the RT-N12 based on what it set out to accomplish. It is, above all, a budget home use router that seeks to offer a stable signal without sacrificing much performance-wise. And as unimpressive as only 300 megabits per second may sound, unless you have a very fast internet connection, this won't really be a problem. We'd love it even more if it weren't all plastic, but hey, for $30, this is perfectly acceptable. Now, if you want to pump some adrenaline into your Wi-Fi signal, then look no further than the Linksys EA7500. Linksys is a well-known and respected networking company, and the EA7500 is one of their premium quality routers. It's basically what you probably imagine the Asus router would be based solely on the Asus name: conspicuous and Sonic the Hedgehog certified fast. So how fast is that exactly? Almost 2 gigabits fast, actually. Naturally, this is a dual-band router with the lower frequency covering a whole 600 megabits per second and the higher frequency accounting for an impressive 1300 megabits per second. Plus, it uses beamforming technology to make sure the signal coverage is as optimal as it could be. It features 2 USB ports in addition to the 4 LAN and 1 WAN configuration on the back, although only one of these is a USB 3.0 port. And it takes no configuration to get it to work. Just connect it and you're good to go. Of course, if you want to make some customizations, you're free to do so either using the desktop or the mobile version of the Linksys Smart Wi-Fi app. Basically, if you want to go fast, the EA7500 will enable you to do so. Its signal is powerful, stable, and large. What's also large is the price tag that it carries, but the raw power and features more than make up for it. The only thing we have a problem with is there's only one USB 3.0 port. If this weren't a premium quality product, we wouldn't really mind so much, but this way it just feels like Linksys is holding out on their customers. All the models we've showcased so far are excellent when it comes to Wi-Fi, and that's indeed what we were looking for when compiling this list. But they're also all standard routers in a way. Not the OnHub AC1900 though. This wireless router is a product of a collaboration between Linksys and Google, so right off the bat you know you're dealing with a top quality product. The cylindrical Alexa-like exterior is a deviation from the standard router norm, but we feel it's a welcome one, as the AC1900 will look great wherever you decide to put it. It supports a total speed of 1900 megabits per second and broadcasts its signal using no fewer than 13 internal Wi-Fi antennae, plus 1 Bluetooth and 1 Zigbee antenna for some extra functionality. And thanks to Google's software, it's one of the smartest routers currently on the market, regularly scanning for environmental and signal changes. Plus, it has advanced bandwidth allocation capabilities, and it comes with Google's companion app. On the other hand though, another thing that really cements the AC1900 as a wireless router is the port configuration. Namely, it only features 1 LAN, 1 WAN, and 1 USB 3.0 port. Now, this isn't a necessarily bad thing. We love it when a product knows what it is and doesn't compromise that by trying to be more. But it's still something that's worth noting. In summation, the OnHub AC1900 is an excellent wireless router for demanding users. It's fit for both home and office use with a stable and expansive signal and incredible dynamic smart capabilities. It's not the most affordable router on this list, but it's definitely worth every buck if this is the kind of product you're looking for. The only thing that can kind of be a pain is the fact that you can't configure the router whatsoever using Windows. It only works with Google's mobile app. Nevertheless, if you want the most high-tech bleeding-edge router out there, the answer has got to be the NETGEAR Orbi. This futuristic-looking router functions using a tri-band signal which can read speeds as high as 3000 megabits per second. The speed itself is incredible, but we'd much rather focus on the tri-band part. By operating on 3 different frequencies, the Orbi allows for the most stable connection coverage we've seen, and you can easily increase the square mileage of the signal by installing several routers or add-ons at at once to create one of the most sophisticated and responsive networks we've seen. If you use enough routers, you can easily cover 7,500 square feet with top-notch Wi-Fi. Also, while it may look more like the OnHub AC1900 than the other routers we've featured, the Orbi still manages to pack one USB 2.0 port, one WAN port, and 3 LAN ports on its lower back, meaning that it isn't exclusively a Wi-Fi router despite being phenomenal at it. It's also very convenient as it can be accessed through the official Orbi app from both Android and iOS as soon as it's set up. So if you want to make sure that your home or office has no dead zones, the Orbi is a safe bet. Just beware, it's not exactly what you would call affordable, and expanding the signal area with additional routers will only increase the cost. Still, we can't say that the price is warranted for the level of performance you'll be getting. The only downside here is that the mobile app, while convenient, doesn't really provide the level of in-depth control we'd like to see in a router this expensive. And finally, after the AC1900 and the Orbi, we can't exactly keep one-upping ourselves in this video. So instead of going out with a bang, we're going to close this video off with the most humble entry on this list. So with that in mind, say hello to the Tenda N301. In our opinion, this router is a perfect example that cheap products can still be highly reliable. You just have to find them amongst all the rubble. And that's exactly what the N301 is. A diamond in the rough that's good for home use where next level Wi-Fi performance isn't the be-all end-all. It operates using a single frequency that delivers wireless speeds up to 300 megabits per second, using old 802.11 BGN technologies. It's not the highest Wi-Fi speed by any means, but it's still very stable thanks to the 2 antennae placed on either side of the device. Connectivity-wise, there are only one WAN and 3 LAN ports to speak of, and unsurprisingly, it comes without any accompanying software. That's pretty underwhelming after some of the previous entries, but if what you're looking for is an affordable and reliable router with a stable Wi-Fi signal, the Tenda N301 will only set you back around $15. Finally, we'd like to say a few words that you should keep in mind when shopping for a Wi-Fi router in general. If you don't know much about how they operate and what specs are good enough, then the information we've presented in this video can easily come off as overwhelming. But there are really only 2 things that you should take note of when looking for the right wireless router, and these are the Wi-Fi technology and the area you need to cover. Unless stated otherwise, all the routers in this video use the 802.11 AC Wi-Fi technology, and this is the latest Wi-Fi technology and technically the 5th iteration of the 802.11. The original 802.11 had a transfer speed of only 2 megabits per second. The 802.11b took this up to 11 megabits per second, the 802.11ga to 54 megabits per second, the 802.11n to 600 megabits per second, and the 802.11ac to speeds over a gigabit. We don't recommend opting for a router that doesn't use the latest technology unless you're shooting for the most affordable solution out there, as there really aren't any upsides to it except for the lower price. As for the area that you wish to bathe in the opulent Wi-Fi signal, just remember that most routers cover roughly 230 square feet or 70 square meters, and that a Wi-Fi signal's arch nemesis is the wall. If you already know that the signal will have to go through more than one wall to reach some of your devices, we highly suggest investing in a router that operates at higher frequencies. And that about does it for this video. We hope you've enjoyed it and maybe learned a thing or two. If you did, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video, as that would really help us out to keep making new ones. As for the new ones, if you find our content enjoyable and want to see more, click on the bell icon and you'll be notified every time we upload a new video. In the meantime, may your games be fun and your losses few. And as always, we'll see you next time on Gaming Scan.